Hey guys, it's Mike with K.I.S Dog Training. We are going to be tackling a client question today, and it is: am I supposed to use hand signals or words first? Um, I don't know that there is a right answer here, but I do have my preference, and that's kind of going to be the topic for today. First, let's look at this from the perspective of dogs don't speak English and humans don't speak dogs. So, the best a dog trainer is going to be able to give you is an educated guess of what that dog is thinking. But we do know that when dealing with another person, let's say, who speaks a different language, that age old talk louder and slower does not help them understand at all. So we have to kind of go to what they understand. It might be Google Translate, it might be we think outside the box, we kind of do different things. But with dogs, I think it's important to stop and think, how does a dog regularly communicate? And the answer is through signals, visual cues. From a dog training perspective, that means hand signals. When I'm working with a dog in the beginning, I very rarely say anything. And some clients are like, well, don't you say the word? Don't you say the word? When do I say the word? And I'm like, well, until the dog can consistently respond to this meaning, look me in the face, this meaning, let me get my hand in the right spot, this meaning sit, this meaning down, this meaning stay, dropping my hand to my side so that they see a target as a release. Um, it seems kind of counterproductive to add the word. Um, so when I start training a dog, we do the hand feeding, and we're going to do lots of just luring with the hands, pointing down to the ground for a down, pointing to the eyeballs, flipping our hand above their head so we can take the treat over the top of their head. Um, there's lots of different things. And when the dog is consistently giving me what I want, hand signal wise, then I will start adding the word at simultaneously the same point and going sit down, watch me, all done. And then the dog will start over time combining the cues and understanding the word come here and the hand dropping to the side mean the same thing. But I really do think dealing with dogs, at least in the beginning points of training, I think it's important to give them the grace of working through what they know, which is visual cues, which are your hand signals. So I think they're really important. Plus, I think one benefit of using hand signals with dogs is the dog is constantly looking at you to see what you're going to give them. One of my favorite games in the world is called the turnaround game, where I'll ask the dog for a sit and I give him a treat and I turn my back on him. And I don't say a word. It drives clients nuts because I'm not saying anything. I'm like, just be patient. Don't do anything. And eventually the dog will sneak around front and look at him. And I say, give him a treat. And we'll do that about 5 or 6 times. Just whenever I turn my back, you're going to flip around front and look at me. Then I tell the client, okay, when the dog flips around front, don't do anything. And then the dog gets a little frustrated and thinks, well, okay, this has always worked. What else do I have to add to the picture? And eventually the dog will sit down. You just got to have the patience. And this is, of course, thinking that you've got the time and effort put in where I've been working on sit along with the hand feeding. But then the dog will start coming around front and sit, and you give him the treat. And then you turn around, and the dog comes around front and sits. How cool would it be to have a dog that every single time you stopped on leash, they would just flip around front, sit, and stare at you? If that became a dog's default behavior, if I don't know what to do, I want to make eye contact with my owner and I want to sit. So that's kind of a long extrapolation from just hand signals and verbal cues, but I think giving the dog a reason to pay attention to us and rewarding them and using hand signals because they're better with visual signals. Um, very long answer to a short question by a client this week, which is better? I don't know that one is better than the other, but I do think you should start with hand signals and then move to verbal cues. So again, this is Mike with K.I.S Dog Training. Hopefully that gives you some things to think about with you and your dog. Remember, keep it simple, stupid, and we'll talk to you guys later.